Good morning friends, you are most welcome to Think IS channel. Today we are going to discuss Ghatnachakra for UPPSC 2023. This Ghatnachakra is important for ecology and environment. Let us begin the topic. Our topic is ecological imbalance. The disruption of the natural balance of an ecosystem by natural or human caused disturbances is known as ecological imbalance. However, wildlife conservation and prevention of environmental pollution is helpful in maintaining ecological balance. Deforestation is one of the main causes of ecological imbalance in India, while desertification, floods and famines and rainfall variations are secondary causes of deforestation. Causes of deforestation. Causes of deforestation. First is natural disaster. Second is conversion of forest into grazing land. Third is conversion of forest land into agriculture land. Fourth is jhum cultivation. Fifth is forest fire. Sixth is wood cutting for commercial and industrial use. Seventh is lack of concept of sustainable development in policy making. Eighth is urbanization. Ninth is heavy demand for papers. Carrying capacity. The carrying capacity of a biological species in an environment is the maximum population size of the species that the environment can sustain indefinitely, given the food, habitat, water, and other necessities available in the environment. Carrying capacity is the number of individual and environment can support without significant negative impacts on the given organism and its environment. Whenever the population increases more than the carrying capacity, it puts pressure on the ecosystem. Excessive population growth can lead to the failure of the ecosystem. Here you can see the curve. This curve is between the time and number of signals. Here you can see the S-shaped curve and there is a limit, upper limit of k. Figure shows graph of population growth S-shape. K represent the breeding capacity. The biotic potential is the maximum reproductive capacity of an organism under optimum environmental condition. It is denoted with the letter R. However, there is a limit beyond which the environment cannot sustain organismal growth. This limit is called carrying capacity. Food web or food chain. The most obvious aspect of nature is that energy must pass from one living organism to another. When herbivorous animals feed on plants, energy is transferred from plants to animals. In an ecosystem, some of the animals feed on other living organisms while some feed on dead organic matter. It creates the food chain. Each chain usually has only 4 to 5 such links. Any substance consumed to provide nutritional support for an organism is called food. Food chain depicts the flow of energy through different organisms in an ecosystem. Notably, this flow is unidirectional. The correct order of different components in one of the food chain of grassland is as follows. First is grass like producer. Second is grasshopper, primary consumer who consumes grass. Third is frog, secondary consumer who consumes grasshoppers. Fourth is snakes, tertiary consumer who consumes frogs. Grass, goat and human also form a food chain. Grass, autotrophs. Goat consume grass, herbivorous consumer. Human consumes goat, omnivorous consumer. In food chain there are trophic levels. Example, autotroph, primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. The primary consumer is the herbivorous that feed on the plant. The secondary consumer is a small carnivorous feeding on the primary consumer and the tertiary consumer is large carnivorous. Man is the primary as well as secondary consumer who feeds on both plants products and meat. Phytoplankton, also known as microalgae, are similar to terrestrial plants in that they contain chlorophyll and require sunlight to live and grow. Most phytoplanktons are buoyant and float on the upper part of the ocean where sunlight penetrates the water. Phytoplankton also requires inorganic nutrients such as nitrates, phosphates, and sulfur, which they convert into proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Prim- Primary producers and ecosystem: phytoplankton, ocean or deep water; rooted plants, shallow water; grasses of different kinds and forest plants, grasslands; and crop plants, cropland. In a food chain, mainly herbivores are considered as primary consumers. Deer is herbivorous, hence it is a primary consumer. Ants fall under both decomposer, primary consumer, and scavengers. It eats plants and receives energy from cellulose. Tiger is carnivorous and fox is omnivorous. Decomposers are nature's recyclers as they break down the organic matter found in the dead bodies of the plants and animals. Decomposers are the nature's recyclers as they break down the organic matter found in the dead bodies of the plants and animals. The term organic matter refers to the matter that comes from living organisms. Decomposers are mainly the microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi in the form of yeast and molds that break down bodies of dead organisms and release compounds that can be used by producers. A common marine food chain is as follows: diatom, crustaceans, and herring.